Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I just wanted to do a little quick short and sweet video about my Pyranha Jed that I outfitted. I figured I'd share kind of my C1 outfitting because I kind of found a system in this one that I really like and I think I'll be using in the future. So I figured it might help some other people out. So yeah. So here's the Jed right here. First thing I wanted to mention with my system is, especially for the Pyrahna boats, I cut out these side profile here of the cockpit rim on both sides. That's just to help me get my knees out a little better, especially because it's a small boat in general. And then we'll work our way down into the boat. But starting off with the hip pads, these are just Gorilla taped in. And it's just a piece of foam I cut to the profile of my hip that fits me. I found that you want to do it like almost 2 sizes tighter than you think you should, and that'll keep you really well seated in the boat and contacted with the sides of the boat. Next is basically the seat, and that runs all the way through the boat, kind of all the way to up here and back there, so it's a solid glued in piece of foam. And what made it nice is because I did the lap belt system in here, I can actually just have a seat that runs all the way through and I don't need places to mount knee straps right there in the center. So for the seat, I just cut out 2 3-inch foam blocks, stacked them on top of each other and cut that out in the profile I liked for my seat. I think it's around 7 inches wide, and then this one is probably 5 or 6 inches tall. This blue foam is just some that I added because I wanted a little higher and a little further forward. But that's my seat. Make sure it was nicely contacting the back of the boat there. And then I have all of that glued into the factory Pyrahna rail, if you can see down in there, because that sits nicely in the bottom of the boat. But what I did do to add stability is I actually took an old carbon paddle shaft, which you can see down in this cup holder I built, and that really keeps it rigid and adds a little bit of extra rigidity, I guess, while also keeping the boat still solid. And then we'll move into my bulkhead. So the bulkhead here is just 2 more 3-inch blocks of foam that I stacked on top of each other, glued to that center seat rail, and then I kind of cut out knee pockets, as you can see there. I feel like that works pretty well. It's glued in, you know, to the top of the boat there, to the bottom, and I haven't had it move at all. I also ended up adding some foam on the sides because I felt that my knees were sliding around when they had room to move on the sides. So it's nice to have your knees contacted either side and the top and fit really nice and snug in there. And then I just have some yoga mat as my foam, you know, padding for the knees. Last thing is my level 6 lap belt. This is actually a level 6 quick release like life jacket belt, and you can just get them for 30 bucks if you search them up. And the reason I like these versus like the airplane belt or anything else is because there's nothing mechanical in here, no springs or anything that can rust out. I know that a lot of people like the airplane belts, but I have heard a few stories of them getting stuck, and I don't want that happening. And I know these, cam buckles or whatever they're called, they're not gonna really fail on me in any way that I wouldn't be able to get out of the boat still. The reason I like this belt specifically is because it does have this metal friction ring here, and you can thread it through that, and it's not going to come undone at all. And that also gives you something to reef down and tighten it on before you thread it through this buckle, which keeps me nice and secure in the boat. Some people like the knee straps versus the lap belt, but for me, I found this works pretty well, and I like that you can just get this for 30 bucks. And that's just bolted in with the Pyrahna seat bolts that go right here. So that works really well for me, and I like that. And then I actually do have a quick release for that. This is attached to a string that runs all the way up through to the front of the belt. That's my thruster, but it goes underneath that, and it pokes out of a hole right here in the front of the boat. I haven't found that gets any water in, But basically I have that attached to this little piece of strap here. It's a loop, and when my skirt runs over the top of my boat, I can just tuck it through this and run it through this loop, so then when I pull my skirt, it'll also pull this, and then obviously the skirt will fall out of this, and I'll be released from here, and I can just come right out of the seatbelt. So yeah, that's kind of my whole setup. I've got little ankle blocks there, just a little bit to support my ankles, but I really like this setup, mostly because I feel like it's pretty simple, it's easy to do, and I felt that it keeps me in the boat nice and tight. This is after a lot of trial and error and just what I like, but I figured I'd share it with you guys, and hopefully you like it. So, see you in the next one.